So I was an 18-year-old single mom, and I didn't get to travel when I was young. I think this is such a cool feature on this van, and I got the idea from boating. I wanted a bathroom I could go in and close the door. So here it is. I think that it really creates the illusion of a much bigger space than what it is. I've always wanted to travel, and I feel like the van is the perfect way to do that. Hi, my name is Bev. This is my 2021 Ram ProMaster. It's my tiny house on wheels. Welcome to my home. I chose this sink setup for a couple of different reasons. I love that the van has doors on both sides. That was a huge selling point for me. My first van had that, and when I saw this van, I knew, this was my van. So I can use this obviously, here in the sink, but then I can also flip that faucet around when that door is open, and it works like an outdoor shower or to just rinse things off outside as well. One of the things that I wanted was I wanted a bit of a wow factor when I open the door and step in the van. So I put the galley over here. We went with plexiglass mirrors and these old picture frames I bought from a flea market and brought them and spray painted them gold and cut them down to size. With the drawer space here, one of the things I knew I didn't want overhead cabinets. I feel like that really closes in and boxes in the space. So we tried to take advantage of as much storage as we could with this counter. So the first drawer is just silverware and utensils and things like that. The second drawer is my stove and all of my things to make coffee in the morning. And then that big third drawer is my grocery drawer. And then up under the counter here, I store a few tools and cleaning supplies and things like that. I feel like this is plenty of storage for the way I use my kitchen. For my cooking setup, I just have a gas one butane stove, and I just take it out of the drawer and set it up here on the counter whenever I want to use it. I love how portable it is. If I want to set that stove on a picnic table or on the slide in the back, I can just pick it up and move it, outside if I don't want to cook in the van. The main thing I use that stove for is my morning coffee. I figured out that's the quickest way I can get a cup of coffee first thing in the morning. For this countertop, there's a wood shop in my little hometown that I grew up in, and I went there and I told them what I was doing. And he suggested this wood. It's called African Sapele, and kind of sight unseen, I just went with his suggestion. And then we just rubbed a little butcher block oil on it, and it really made it shine. We did a little cutout for the sink. It's a little cutting board that fits right in the sink and gives me a little extra space. But in the sunlight, this countertop just glistens like tiger's eye. This is my second van. The first van that I had for a couple of years, it was a 2004 Chevy Express with a couple 100,000 miles on it. I learned lots of lessons from the other van, things that I wanted and things that I didn't want. I bought it from my best friend, and she had already gutted it, and so the decor was kind of her theme, and I just went with that. But this van is all me. Like everything in here are things that I chose, to create to be in my space. I wasn't sure how it would all come together with the ceiling and the wallpaper and the floor. Like it was a lot. And I feel like it came together really nicely. Like I'm very happy with it. This area right here is kind of a combination living room, dining room. It does a little bit of everything. One of my favorite parts about this little area is the agate table. I bought it on Marketplace. It had this crazy silver base attached to it. We took it off that base, had it mounted on a Lagoon swivel mount. So I can tuck it over here out of the way when I want to go back and forth in the hallway. And then whenever I want to sit here, I can just swivel it around and set my food or laptop or whatever. So it also works as like a little office space. I think this is such a cool feature on this van, and I got the idea from boating. I had seen an ice chest that had this swivel seat on it, and I talked to Johnny from Midwest Van Builders, who helped me do the build out with this van, and she's like, yeah, I think we can do that. So she created this couch, we call it the cool couch for a couple of different reasons. So I can open the door and sit and look out, or just swivel it back this way, and it's my indoor couch. Now, another thing about this is it's also the car refrigerator. This is a dual zone Bodega refrigerator, so I can set the temperature to freezing on one side and just keeping stuff cool on the other side. Now, typically, I hate digging things out. Like, I hate having to move something out of the way to get to something else, but this doesn't really seem to be a problem. I feel like it was a really good creative way to use that space and to get that big fridge in here and have a comfortable place to sit. I love it when I can open both those doors, get that cross breeze, have a view from both sides, and just be parked someplace amazing. So I was an 18-year-old single mom, and I didn't get to travel when I was young. You know, I didn't have child support. I was busy trying to figure out how to pay the rent. And at this time in my life, I really feel like I'm making up for all those lost trips and lost vacations that I didn't get to have. I'm just loving this part of my life. I'm loving not having an alarm clock to get up to and not having other people to take care of and just getting to go and travel and adventure. I've documented part of my journey through my YouTube channel, Becoming Bev, and I feel like it's been an inspiration for people, especially women my age. Like, once the kids are grown and gone and maybe you're divorced or something like that, and you finally get to ask yourself the question, you know, what do I want to do? And it becomes a bit of a spiritual journey. I've always wanted to travel, and I feel like the van is the perfect way to do that. My van fits anywhere that there's a normal parking spot. If I want to stay longer, I stay longer. If I'm not feeling the vibe and I want to leave, I just get in the driver's seat and drive away. I gathered inspiration, ideas for this van for probably 2 years before I actually did the build out. And I saw this door, like a picture of a door similar to this, and I just kind of fell in love with it. But at one point, this door was kind of a challenge to make, and Johnny, my builder, I was ready to give up, and Johnny says, don't give up, we can do it. And I think it turned out beautiful. This is 2 different types of wood that we had to match up. We had to pour resin in the knot holes to keep the composure of the door, and then there's just a film on the back side to give it that kind of rain looking effect. One of the most important things about this van build compared to my old van is I wanted a bathroom I could go in and close the door. So here it is. So I have a full indoor shower here. It has hot water. I just flip the switch. I've got hot water in about 10 minutes. So lately I've gotten myself back into the gym. So I've been using the shower at Planet Fitness quite a bit, but this shower has definitely come in handy. With 21 gallons of water, you do kind of have to conserve your water a bit. So I do what I call a van shower. So I feel like I can do a halfway decent shower with maybe 2 gallons of water. And then I think this is a really cool feature. I have a composting toilet in here. It tucks up under the bed, which I think is a great feature because when I want to take a shower, I'm not taking a shower around the toilet. It tucks in up out of the way. We put a little door on it that has a rubber seal around the door so it keeps the water from seeping in there. And then I take it out at night when I want to use it. And when I travel, I tuck it back up in that nook. This is basically the closet. So I have hanging clothes down below here, a drawer to store clothes in, and then this upper cabinet has 2 shelves on it where I can store my toiletries and makeup and hair dryer and that sort of thing. With this amount of storage, you really need to be particular with what you're bringing with you. Like, it's plenty, but you don't want to stuff things in there. I don't want it too full. So it's enough to get me through maybe 2 weeks, and then I need to go do laundry. There's quite a bit of storage under the bed. We had the bed raised up fairly high to get the most storage that we could under here. So the little box down here, it's dual purpose. It slides out for a step to step up on the bed, and it's also a box for my shoe storage. And we went with a curtain instead of a door because it's just so darn easy to flip that up and do that. And you don't have to step out of the way like you would if you were opening a door. And then I also put a little motion sensor light down there, which comes in super handy when I'm down there looking for something and digging stuff out. I paid $50,000 for the van, and then I partnered with Johnny from Midwest Van Builders to do the build, and I knew that she was my person. She really understood my vision. She's one of the most detailed people I've ever met in my life. Johnny did all the electrical, she did the plumbing, she did all the woodwork, and then I ended up doing all the curtain making and spray painting and upholstery work. I chose this van because I needed a newer van. I needed something dependable. I have AAA, but I didn't want something that was going to be breaking down, that I was going to have to, have in the shop all the time. This van only had 1,000 miles on it when I bought it. It was considered a used vehicle, so I got a little bit better price for it. And I knew I didn't want a white van. That's not my style. I know there's a lot of white vans out there, but when I saw this van with that low mileage and this color and the doors on both sides, the second I saw it, I'm like, that's my van. Welcome to my bedroom. This is a full-size mattress, minus a few inches off the end. And I went with that instead of having it go this way, so I'd have enough space for the closet and the shower. Now I'm 5'7", so I fit good in here. I can lay my head up here and I don't touch the bottom down here. Anybody any taller than about 5'7" would need to lay diagonal in here. It's a little bit tight for anybody taller than me. I went with plexiglass mirrors in here also, and I feel like it makes the bedroom space look really big. When I'm sitting in here like reading, I never feel like I'm closed in this small nook or this tiny space. I think that it really creates the illusion of a much bigger space than what it is. We did the window border the same way as we did the kitchen galley. So it's an old picture frame that I spray painted gold. And then I made this little insert to go in here like a curtain, and then taped it on a curtain rod. So I can just kind of push it down like that and open this window, and I can get the cross breeze from the Max Air fan coming through the bedroom at night. And I still feel like I've got privacy. And then if I don't want to open it up like that, I can just pull that little tab over there and half of it opens. So I have a Houghton rooftop air conditioner in here, and it actually runs off my Bluetti, which I'm super pumped about. Now I can get maybe 5 hours of air conditioning when the Bluetti's fully charged. Other than that, I need to be plugged in. I find typically that the Max Air fan and this little bedroom fan is enough to keep me comfortable in here at night. This is the garage space, so everything that I don't need access to on a daily basis ends up back here in this section. I've got lots of storage up under here. I don't have my e-bike with me, but my e-bike actually fits in this nook right here. And when I had Johnny help me with this build out, she, measured it all just for the e-bike. I've got a drawer here on a 500-pound slider. So I keep all of my cleaning supplies and some camping things and laundry detergent and stuff like that back here. The little storage nook here, it's pretty deep, like it goes the full length of the bed, but I love that the stand-up paddleboard fits in there and the air pump and all that. With my other van, I wouldn't have been able to do that because there would have been nowhere to store it. So this van gives me that extra storage for things like that. This compartment right here is all of my water storage things. So I can just pop this door off and I can check and see what my water level is. And then also the water pumps are in this storage area as well. This section is where the Bluetti is at. So all of my fuses and electrical stuff, power, surge protector, everything is tucked in this little nook right here. And it's on a slider too, so if I need to access the front panel of the Bluetti, I just slide it out. My van builder has used these Bluettis in pretty much every build she's done. So she talked me into going with the Bluetti rather than the lithium battery setup that I had on my other van. I've been pretty happy with it. There have been a couple of times where I've had to reboot the system, to get it going again. But I feel like this thing is a beast. Like, it's enough power to power, both of the refrigerators, the hot water heater. I can run my air conditioner off of it. I would have never been able to do that with my old setup. So I've got 400 watts of solar up on the roof. I also have an inverter that's in the front of the van. I can just flip a switch and it charges the Bluetti while I'm driving, or I can plug in and charge it. Having doors on both sides is one of my favorite things about this van. For one thing, it creates a nice cross breeze. The other thing is it gives me access to the storage from both inside the van and from outside. As a side bonus, like, this wasn't intentional, but I was in the van, doing some stuff in this little kitchen area, and somebody walked up and ordered a drink. And I'm like, wow, I didn't know I created a bar too. The panels that we went with, we weren't really sure what to do with this space, and we had some leftover panels from the shower. So we just put those here on the outside, and I feel like it was perfect. I love the look, and I also love that it comes in handy for that outdoor shower usage. I've also had some custom work done to the outside of the van. I felt like I wanted to bring a little of that wow factor to the outside of it. So normally on these Ram ProMasters, these are all black plastic panels running this way, and I had them painted to match the van. I also got new wheels to kind of bring in that gold color, and then had it custom pinstriped. My friend Michael Swan did all this hand-painted pinstriping on the van, and I think it just was that finishing touch that just made it pop. Even on the front of the van, we had the black plastic grill painted, and then I had the Ram painted to match the color of the wheels. To support this lifestyle, I have a couple of different things going on. I own a day spa in Pearland, Texas called Hired Hands that I've had for 29 years. In January of 2020, I partnered with my daughter. We bought an old rundown campground. We call it Fred Rock. So she's there full time. She lives on the property. We've got 10 Airbnbs and full hookup RV spots. I dip in there fairly often to help her out when we've got a new project. On social media, everything is pretty much under Becoming Bev. So I've got Instagram, Facebook, my YouTube channel is Becoming Bev. Thanks for being here. Thanks for checking out my new van, and we'll see you down the road.